Welcome everyone. A happy occasion is an occasion when the morning happens. Morning is when the darkness goes away and the light appears. We owe this, obviously, to the sunrise on a basis which is the outer cosmos. The inner cosmos, ourself, is where we continuously work on areas that can be lighted up, can move from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, from untruth to truth. And interestingly, that keeps on changing as we get through life. And this occasion reminds us of what we had yesterday, for example, Narkasur Chaturdashi. Now, there's a release of our indriyas, release of what we are in the bondage. In Narkasur, there was the whole episode of Krishna Bhagwan taking help of Satyabhama to release from what Narkasur, Narak means hell, Asur. Hell and heavens are basically our own attitudes, our own impressions, our own functions of our mind. And interesting part is 16,000 ladies, kanyas, were under his control. And they were obviously bondage, which Krishna Bhagwan released at that time. And then once you release it, where do they go? They have to submit to the Lord. They cannot just wander away. And so here is where Krishna Bhagwan gets permission from Satyabhama. Satya, truth, Bhama, wife. The truth is when you resort to at that point. You say to yourself, what is the truth here? When you release yourself, that's great. Release all the stuff. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of some of the aches and pains I have, some of the situations I have in my mind, and some of the troubles I have. What happens? What do I do with the active mind? What do I do with the active activities? And this is where Sri Krishna Sharan Mama. That is where it happened. It happened in all 16,000. That's the reason why we talk about 16,108. But that's submission to God. And when we come to that, that is when the truth, light of truth appears once that happens. And the light of truth is what we celebrate on this day. When we see the light is what appears to be the whole message of this occasion. Now, it's obvious that there are so many interpretations in different cultures and different stories. There are many, many stories about this. Almost everybody can relate, of Ramayana stories and how on Diwali day, things happen and Ram travels to Ayodhya and things like that. And then also in Jainism, there is also stories about what happens with the Jains what happens in Sikhism, Gobind Singh or was released, etc. There's so many relatable things, events that happen. Events are events. We basically watch the world events and realize that we pass from darkness to light every single moment. And Diwali is not today. Diwali is every day. And this is the message that we will have to carry as we practice during our holistic practice. Holistic means everything. As soon as I'm not able to move certain joints or having backache or having certain things, and I started seeing the methods to help that. That's your Diwali. As soon as I'm depressed about something happens in my life, and I don't like it. Some near and dear one is having some suffering, disease, death, whatever, passes away, release. That is the time we resort to something that is truth. And when we think about it, when we start continuing to contemplate about it, that is your Diwali. And it's obvious that Diwali, once the light is happening, the new year begins. And so there are many, many interpretations. And we also talk about colors. The initial light, which you see, is just light. The initial light then passes through a prism of raindrops, prism that we have to create a rainbow and colors. So the light then passes through something that evolves into the world out there. And that's what Festival of Colors means. Rangoli. We create the colors from the light. That's how the original light gets into the 7 colors. So once we understand that, we know how to enjoy this process, and it leads to the whole recognition of what we need to do going forward. So that's basically a simplified version of what Diwali means.